The NHS Muslim Network has received NHS time and cash in order to promote the interests of British Muslims. But it's gone one step further. It's created a guide on how to convert to Islam, detailing the conversion process, the rules you must abide by, how to deal with family members who disapprove, but also reassuring the reader that converting to Islam will be the, quote, best decision you ever make. Left funding. So you're concerned a little bit about religion creeping into public services?
Absolutely. What is the matter with the British people? What are they pandering to?
That sounds very bizarre, to be honest.
Are religious groups widening?
The NHS, meant to heal the sick, is now coaching staff on how to convert to Islam? This isn't just about inclusion, it's about indoctrination. Welcome to a shocking breakdown of how your taxes are being used to push religious doctrine in Britain's health service. Hit subscribe now if you're tired of the spin and want the real story. It began with a seemingly harmless guide, written by the NHS Muslim Network and distributed across the country to NHS employees. But this wasn't a simple cultural awareness pamphlet. This guide didn't just explain Islam, it literally congratulated staff for choosing to convert. It included step-by-step instructions on how to perform the Shahada, the Islamic declaration of faith, and advised staff on how to deal with skeptical family members. It stated,
but that some family members and friends may not initially have a positive reaction. They say the guide
and advised readers too.
The network tells the convert they should enlist a, quote, trusted friend to speak to as you adjust into your new life, who can help with any difficult reaction. It recommends those interested in Islam to visit a mosque and installed. The, quote, newly practicing convert will take time to learn how to pray, as they'll need to learn to recite some Arabic. In the section on
this wasn't education, this was recruitment, and it was funded by taxpayers. Supporters of the NHS Muslim Network insist it's all about allyship and support. One civil servant even urged NHS staff to fast during Ramadan, claiming it was a way to.
One of whom called on NHS workers to fast during Ramadan in order to show, quote, allyship with Muslim colleagues.
The official NHS flyer promoted a Ramadan challenge, encouraging non-Muslims to abstain from food and drink from dawn to sunset, claiming
to understand how Muslim colleagues feel when they're fast, and that it, quote, is a great way to show allyship. The challenge involves...
But even respected Muslim voices were stunned when asked about asking non-Muslims to fast.
Would you agree with that, or do you think these...
Oh, no, Alan, no, at all. That's wrong. That's not the spirit of Islam. That's not. We encourage them to come for iftar, not fasting. Welcome to come because it is a tradition. For example, if next door neighbor is a Jewish, Christian, Hindus, and so non-Muslim, they take a dish for him, because we say one weekend that is what. But no, under no circumstances has to be or you have to hold with me, or we have to hold, is my choice to hold it, and you do not need to be embarrassed or push yourself and hold fast, even 2 hours for the holding.
So what do you think of
the message is clear. This wasn't cultural respect. It was compulsion dressed as compassion. This isn't just about one network or one guide. It's a pattern. The NHS, the UK's largest employer, handed out £2,655 in 2023 to the NHS Muslim Network. And that's just what's confirmed. No word yet on what was handed out in other years. That same network tells readers
because they believe everyone is born Muslim, and the process of conversion is very simple. But that some family members and friends may not initially have a positive reaction. They say the lying converts are, quote, abiding by an obligation passed to us by God. Network tells staff it may take some time to fully separate from some of the aspects of British culture that don't align with Islam. Social gatherings, including a trip to the pub or a bar, quote, do not align with keeping a halal diet, and to an extent remain.
And this isn't hidden in some backroom leaflet. The guide sits openly on an NHS diversity training website. It's even used as a resource for university students training in health and sports. Meanwhile, NHS staff are already overstretched. The same service reportedly has long waiting lists, chronic underfunding, and dire staffing shortages. But they've got time and money to run religious mentorship programs where Muslim staff mentor NHS executives to explain their lived experience. Ben Habib didn't hold back.
It is a muscular religion on its front foot, wishing to take more people in. So what Islam has done, which is very clever and natural, I suppose, from Islam's perspective, is to use the fabric of DEI and effectively a fabric that we ourselves have created in this country, and to exploit it to convert people to Islam. So what we've seen is Islam behaving like a rational ideology and exploiting the mechanisms afforded to it by the British political.
The result, public fury.
Pandering, I'm just disgusted. And this is, from an old woman coming.
So you're concerned a little bit about religion creeping into public services?
Absolutely.
Another added,
What's religion or spirituality got to do with medical care? Like, I know that there's certain practices.
and when asked about the NHS promoting guides on how to convert, a retired chaplain stated bluntly,
Proselytizing from any religions or any groups?
No, this is totally wrong.
what about other religious networks in the NHS? Christian and Jewish groups exist, but there's no record of them producing conversion guides or telling people how to opt out of British holidays like Christmas or Easter. The NHS Muslim Network even advises converts how to navigate those holidays, stating,
Saying if they no longer feel comfortable in participating in rituals like Secret Santa, they should feel confident in opting out. The network.
The reaction from public figures has been scathing. Critics say this isn't about religion anymore. It's about woke ideology using taxpayer institutions to push political narratives. As one voice put it,
Comfortable at work.
Garbage.
Do you think
It's all
this is
garbage.
good value for money?
It's just garbage. The idea that, everyone says multiculturalism is great, we'll get lots of different cultures, lots of different thoughts coming to the UK, we'll interact in some massive, homogenous, hot, bubbling, frothing pot of diversity of thought. That's all garbage, because what we're doing with the protective blanket and the promotion of these minority ethnicities, belief systems, etc., is creating multicultural silos in the UK. What we're doing is creating division of thought, where actually you're prohibited from challenging these ideologies because these ideologies are protected. And that's why the word, again, just comes.
the bombshell dropped when it was revealed that top civil servants were not only endorsing this content, they were actively participating. Chris Hobson, Chief Strategy Officer of NHS England, didn't just approve the NHS Muslim Network, he publicly endorsed their conversion guide, stating,
When they released a support brochure, he wrote, I am proud to be the executive sponsor. I'm sure this will be invaluable to all our Muslim colleagues, allies and friends across the NHS.
He even confirmed he was taking part in the Ramadan Challenge, inviting NHS staff to fast with him to show solidarity. And it doesn't stop there. This network provides reverse mentorship, where Muslim staff are assigned to mentor NHS executives so they can learn their lived experience. There's no indication that any other religious group gets the same access. Here's where it gets worse. Some events hosted by the NHS Muslim Network featured Zara Mohammed, the former head of the Muslim Council of Britain, MCB, an organization the UK government has refused to engage with since 2009 due to historical concerns about extremism. Yet NHS executives still attended events like World Hijab Day, hosted in collaboration with the very same controversial group. And these guides, including how to convert to Islam, are not just internal, they're part of official diversity training, available openly online, and even shared with university students in health and sports degrees. Let that sink in.
And to exploit it to convert people to Islam. So what we've seen is Islam behaving like a rational ideology and exploiting the mechanisms afforded to it by the British political and in any way. People are taking the knee to Islam.
So the people that are advocates for this, they'll say that this
Critics didn't hold back. Former NHS staff, members of the public, and experts lined up to slam the insanity. One woman fumed.
Ex-Muslim country. They don't all say, oh, well, you're Christian, we're going to convert everything into Christianity or Buddhism, do they? And I've travelled quite a lot. So what is the matter with the British people? What are they pandering to?
What is religion?
Another added,
What's it got to do with? It's everyone's individual thing. That sounds very bizarre, to be honest.
even NHS chaplain Dr. Sheikh Ramsey admitted.
3 co-chairs, Shahal Sheikh, Halima Dagia and Riaz Patel. Halima.
When asked whether NHS staff should be encouraged to fast to show allyship, he said,
or push herself and hold fast, even 2 hours for the holding
So what do you
for
think of
food.
the people that have written these guides that run the Muslim?
These aren't fringe opinions. This is widespread frustration from Muslims, from Christians, from secular Brits, all asking the same thing. What is the NHS doing? Ben Habib gave the final knockout.
Need to do. We need to reverse the entire regulatory and legal framework that is DEI, and that requires getting rid of the Equalities Act, getting rid of practice DEI. So all of that needs to be removed. The Equalities Act needs to go, which is the foundation of this. The Equalities Act is inappropriately named. It is an act that encourages discrimination.
The government still refuses to engage.
This isn't equality, this is ideological capture. It's time to ask, is the NHS a health service or a platform for proselytization? If you're as stunned by this as we are, hit that subscribe button now, because we're not done exposing what's happening behind the curtains of our public institutions.